Good morning, everyone. A very warm welcome to all of you in another episode of Meet My Gems under the guidance and supervision of our respected Professor Dr. Prem Kumar Agarwal, who was himself an aspirant of West Bengal Judicial Service examination in the year 1999, securing a top rank in it. He is a former judge who chose to serve the noble profession of teaching, and we are fortunate enough to have him as our head of the department in the Government Center of Legal Education, Hooghly Mohsin College. He has served as the founding faculty member of National University of Juridical Science, Calcutta, popularly known as NUJS. He is also the visiting faculty of National Judicial Academy of Honorable Supreme Court and the West Bengal Judicial Academy of Honorable High Court of Calcutta. Well, today's episode of Meet My James is a little bit different and a special one for us as well as for Seth. As today we have someone who is not only his gem but an inspiration to the womanhood. So, without wasting much time, I would like to invite Seth so that he can introduce us with our today's speaker. Over to you, Seth.
Thank you, Arpita. Good morning, Nagesh. It's really a pleasure today to have Nagesh Yasmin, one of my most sparkling gems, in today's episode of Meet My Gems. Nagesh studied LLB in Mohsin College, Hooghly Mohsin College, in the years 2008, 9 and 10. Thereafter, she studied her LLM in the West Bengal National University of Juridical Sciences. That appears to be a very normal uh, career path for any student. But our Nagesh has a very different story. She is a fighter. She fought back all odds in her life. She herself was a victim of horrendous crime, which Orpita will now describe. And Nagesh is a symbol of bravery, perseverance, and a real role model for all women of this world. Not only women, but victims of crime can fight back so well, you will not even imagine unless you go through her story. Orpita, please carry on.
Thank you, sir. Indeed, an inspiring reality. Before commencing with the interactive session, we would like to prefer you to take you guys back in 1998. An incident which changed a life, a judgment which restored the faith in judicial system, and a girl who knew how to fight it out. So let's go back. January 1998. She was only 18, returning home from her coaching classes. It was like any other normal day until she found herself being stalked by three people. She tried to hurry as much as she could. She wanted to run as far as possible from those cheap comments and indecent proposals coming towards her. But she could not. She was hit on the left side of her head with a chopper. Then the bullet pierced her abdomen and got stuck in the spinal cord. They thought that's the end. But no, that was not the end of Nargis. She was a brave soul determined to fight back. She got to know that she would have to work with specially designed crutches for the rest of her life. Still, she refused to sit back. She went on to knock the door of justice. She not only earned justice for herself but also decided to associate herself with the justice system. She was delighted to know that criminals do get punished even in real life also. And she wanted the whole world to know the same. And today we have that inspiration with us. A very good morning, ma'am. Welcome.
Good morning. First of all, thank you, sir, Prem sir, for giving me this opportunity, this valuable platform, this prestigious platform to share my thoughts. Thank you, Arpita, for that warm welcome. Thank you.
So, ma'am, before starting with the question answer session, would you like to say something or should I begin?
No, you can start.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. It's a pleasure to have you with us today. So, ma'am, I would like to know. Okay, I would like to know exactly when you decided to pursue law as a career option, from the childhood itself or on the later stage.
It was never a childhood dream. Like every small kids at that time, I also aspired to be a doctor. I still remember, that putting prefix DR, doctor before Nargis, and acting as if I'll be a doctor. But it was in the latter part of my life after I passed my ICSE. It was once I got a judgment of relief from the Indian judiciary system. So I thought it was a conscious dream at that time that I will get into law to save many people, because this is one of the forum which I know is a common man also has a direct access to it. So it was a later part of my life that I wanted the law as a career. It was a conscious dream after getting relief from the Indian judiciary system.
Okay. So since today we have a law officer among us, we should like to request you to give us a brief summary about the life of a law officer.
Now, in every organization nowadays, be it a government job or any public sector undertaking or any autonomous body, anywhere, a post of law officer is created. It's there. It's the main task of those law officers are to look after legal matters of the department. Whenever anything crops out in matters of legal, so they are taken after, looked after by these law officers. Like in Kolkata Port Trust only, it deals with a lot of lands. No? Kolkata Port Trust has a lot of lands, where in those lands people are given lease there. And sometimes they do some unauthorized occupation over there. They put some unauthorized construction over there. So those things are looked after by these law officers. They act as a liaison officer between the court and the advocates in the court, and they get it. So this is the work of the law officers everywhere. Apart from all this work, also there is another thing which a law officer, not only a law officer, every officer has to look into it. Be it in the sphere of schools or colleges or anywhere. There's a thing called office politics. Politics. I do not mean by political parties, where some people will always take care of you, some people will always be there at the back of you to dominate you. So it's up to you to see the situation in a cool and composed manner and to work it out. So apart from the working of the law officer, this is also there. This is also a part in every officer, in every officer's life.
Okay, thank you, ma'am, for giving us an insight about the life of a law officer. So my next question is, even though judiciary is a dream of many, but there are several other service opportunities as well for a law graduate, and one of those is that of a law officer. So, ma'am, as a senior law officer in Port Trust, what would be your advice to law graduates?
Before studying law means the two cream positions were there, that is practicing and another to go in the judiciary. So apart from this, nowadays there are a lot of prospects being studying law. Like, and you can go be a law officer as I am there. Like in every organization, I said already in my previous question, in every organization, everywhere in the government sector or any PSUs or any autonomous body, there is always a post for law officers. So you can give exams for those. Okay, you have advertisement do come up for those. You keep a track on those. Apart from practicing and judiciary, these are the posts which you can hold in your after completing your graduation in law.
Okay. Ma'am, it would be of great help if you kindly enlighten us regarding the selection procedure of a law officer in Kolkata Port Trust.
So there was then in my time threefold process. The first process is they had put an advertisement in the official site of Kolkata Port Trust stating the requisites. That is, in my time, the requisite was 2 years of practice, be it criminal or civil, and LLM was preferable, and age limit of 35 years. So we had to apply for that in the respective place. And after that, it was shortlisted, and a written examination was conducted. Written examination consisted of 200 marks. The first 100 marks was of MCQ in all the law papers, right from IPC, CRPC, evidence, contract, tort, constitution, arbitration, everything, labor laws, everything. Even they had Public Premises Act, since it dealt with the land purposes. After that, after giving in the exam, next 100 marks was your essay type questions based on a constitution, papers, jurisprudence, etc. After that, it was called for the interview, and after the interview, the selection process, they have shortlisted the candidates, and we joined. It was like
Okay.
this.
So, ma'am, what was your strategy to crack the written examination?
Actually, before that, I already appeared for judiciary exams. So I was through to the syllabus of judiciary, and the same syllabus was there for the law officer examination also. So that helped me a lot. So that helped me a lot in compiling the studies I did in that way. You have to just take any book of any author's book of any paper and just go through it. You have to practice writing the questions and also practice with time the MCQ also. So you will get through, because it was my plus point that I was appearing for the judiciary exams. So that was easier for me in a way.
Ma'am, many students finds it difficult to go through the interview round. So, how was your experience in that interview room?
Interview, certain things you have to keep in mind. That is, in the process of interview, they do not test your knowledge in the subject, because that is already tested in the written examination. The thing which they test is your presence of mind, your way of speaking, your communication skills. So first thing you have to remember is that while appearing for any interview, you have to be genuine, not fake. You should not lie. Lie means, what I'm trying to say is, like in many things, we don't say the truth, thinking that we will be chucked out if we say the negative thing. So that you should not do. You should speak your heart and mind, because once you lie, what happens? The people those who are sitting in the interview board, they are far more experienced than you. They'll just catch you from your face itself. So that will create a negative impact on it. So this is the first thing, that you have to be genuine and you should not be a fake one. Number
Okay.
two, you should be bold enough. Okay, bold enough in the means, whatever you say, you should say it with proper explanation, so that it becomes convincing to them. Okay, and the last part is the thing should and the you should be rational. Okay, whatever you say, whatever things you are saying that you're asked for, you should say it in such a way that it becomes the interviewers who are taking the interview, they should be convinced by it. Okay, it is not that you have to know everything. Okay, you are not an encyclopedia over there. They even know that it's not that everything under the sun you'll be knowing. So only just speak your heart and mind there, and be genuine and bold, of course.
Okay. It was a much
Because
needed advice, ma'am.
I can answer this properly, because I have faced two interviews, one of the judiciary and one of this senior law officer's post. But judiciary, maybe I had certain flaws which for that I could not get through, but I mended those while giving interview in this law officer's post. So I could tell it properly, actually.
Okay, a much needed advice. So, ma'am, you have completed your LLB from the prestigious Hooghly Mohsin College. So, let's have a quick down the memory lane moment. Few words about your time in Hooghly Mohsin College.
Actually, Hooghly Mohsin College is a epitome for me as a independence, place of my independence. It was the first time after my accident that I was appearing in some schools or colleges independently, all by myself, and sitting in the classroom amongst all the students, listening to lectures of the teachers. So it was a place of independence for me, where I can do everything. It instilled faith that yes, I can do everything, not just sitting at the home and studying, doing in distant course and all those. Regularly attended the colleges amongst all the students and friends, and I did that. So it's like a symbol of independence for me, studying in Mohsin College, so one of the prestigious institution, and doing law from there. I consider myself very lucky, and very lucky in the sense also I found all cooperative people over there who encouraged me, boosted me up. One such person is Dr. Prem Kumar Agarwal, sir.
Okay. Now comes to our motivator, Prem sir. He is a friend, philosopher, and guide to his students. So, few words about sir.
I remember meeting Sir for the first time when I passed my entrance examination of LLB. My husband happened to meet him in his house and say that this is Nargis coming to study and she has certain problems. So, sir, please take care of her. So, sir said only one thing to my husband that when Nargis thought of that she'll study LLB from Hooghly Motion College, we are there. We are taking the guarantee that will help her to continue to complete that course. And I met him for the first time when I went on the first day of the college in my induction program. Okay, he was giving lectures on about the institution, about the course. Before that, I was not that convinced about law. Okay, my husband told that you go for the you go and study law, so I just came. I was not that convinced, but hearing sir's mesmerizing ideas, I was hell bent that I am going to complete law and I am going to take up LLB and I'm going to complete it. So, sir is instead of saying as a friend, philosopher, and guide, I would say sir as my guru. You know, my entire legal career, whatever I have done till date, was and is shaped by sir. Right from my LLB till my LLM, till getting this job, and maybe the later half of the time when I'll be taking, when I'll be doing PhD or LLD, whatever, he is always there. He was always there for me to guide me, not only in my studies, to guide me in my studies, but also boosting up my mental state of mind. When I always used to fall, I used to call sir. At any point of time, he was always there for me. So he's like a guru to me. He's a guru to me. Thank you, sir, once again. I got this platform and an opportunity to thank you. Otherwise, I don't get such scope. Really, thank you, sir.
Okay. Ma'am, you have experienced the very practical aspect of crime, criminal, and justice in your life. You have fought with your head high and embraced victory. As I have already mentioned, you are an inspiration to the womanhood. So, any advice or suggestion which you would like to give to us students or females or girls out there?
I would take a little time to answer this question. Could you please allow me? I'll take just a
Yes, yes.
bit more time actually.
Sure, sure,
Now,
ma'am.
it was in the year 1998. I had to face an exceptional trauma because at that I was just a teenager, 16 years old girl coming out from the school with lots of hope and aspiration in the eyes and heart to explore the world, to explore the opportunities and the possibilities. At that time only I met with this unfortunate accident which has cripped my life, paralyzed my life entirely. Okay, I was clueless. My parents were in a deep shock that what to do now? What is the thing that is waiting for me? We do not know. We do not understand that. Everything around, it turned out to be very means everything moving very in a motionless way, in a very slow motion out. So I was tied in literally I was tied in the bed soon after my accident. I had no senses out. Doctors there had already told my parents that she'll be living only for a year. She cannot live more than that. And this year also she'll be tied in the bed. Okay, and she will not do anything. She cannot do anything. Everyone will be dependent. She has to be dependent on everyone. But I did not know all these things. I was only understanding that I was tied in a bed. Then my father, with hope against hope, took me to CMC for my better treatment over there. There also, doctors have told me the same thing, but one positive thing that they have said that no, there is nothing that 1 year only she will be living. We'll make her live independent and we'll make it sure that she lives life independently. And my struggle started from there itself. Okay, I started thinking that I'll try to do all my unfulfilled dreams which I thought of. No, it was the word impossible. That word started trying to become possible at certain point of time. I did lot of my half body was paralyzed. Only my upper body was working. So I had to do rigorous exercises. I had to undergo a lot of trainings to make the upper body more stronger so that I can do the work of the lower part of the body also. I was given a specially designed calipers and crutches and chairs and a wheelchair. Initially, I was very reluctant to accept the same because I was just howling and crying, couldn't understand my mental state at that point of time. But later on, I started accepting it, thinking that the wheelchair is a symbol of independence for me. And also, I considered it as a palace on wheels. A palace on wheels, I say that. Then after that, after 9 to 10 months of practice over there, I came back to my homeland from Vellore. There I started my fighting again. I used to cry what to do next, because I was just in class 11 at that time doing science. I could not continue science because there were a lot of practicals to do, which I could not do from home. I had to shift to arts. With a heavy heart, I had to shift to arts. Then one point of time, one of my friend came to my house and said that you have still many things in your life which you can do with this all situation also. Then I started jotting down all the weaknesses and all my strength also. And then I saw the strength was outweighing all my weaknesses. I started experimenting with everything. I started transforming all my weaknesses into strength. And then in this brief process of time, I completed my plus two also. I did my graduation also. That was then I in this process also I got married. After marriage, my case was also going on before the court. After 98, a case was registered, so that was also going on. So, going to the courtroom, facing those unexceptional questions, which was put to me by the defense lawyers, I was not habituated with those questions of the courtroom. But bit by bit, I started winning it. Okay, it was really a joy and a setback when I got the relief from the judiciary system that the culprits were given 10 years of imprisonment and 75,000 of compensation, which was a very mere amount, I understand, but that was the thing which was given by judiciary. And then in the courtroom, a lot of uncomfortable questions were given to me. I had tears rolling down my cheeks. At that point of time only, I made up my mind. I am going to do law, and I am going to take a career as a law as a career, and then and do it from Hooghly Mohsen College. I also told my husband about it. My husband arranged all this for exams and all. I have got through the exam. Now, the first day when I went to Hooghly Mohsen College, undaunted by those 45 stairs, the Hooghly Mohsen College 45 wooden stairs to go up and complete the class. Pushing my half paralyzed body with the crutches, I had to struggle. And I completed LLB in my second attempt. Why second attempt? First attempt I could not, because at that point of time, the world's greatest pleasure of a womanhood, being a mother, I was a mother at that time. So I then after that, I again completed my LLB. I came back and completed LLB. But this time I wanted to raise the bar now. I wanted to do LLM from some of the prestigious law colleges in India. Then I appeared for CLAT, and simultaneously I was also preparing for my judicial examinations. Here also I took help and guidance of Dr. Prem sir, and I cleared my judiciary mains examinations and also CLAT in my first attempt. And CLAT, I was the first rank holder in my category, and 48 rank all over India. I was mesmerized. I was very happy. It was surprising for me because I got both my whatever exams I was giving, the judicial exams and CLAT, I got through. But little did I know that there were still surprises waiting for me. Okay. None of the law schools, top law schools like NLS, NUJS, or NALSA had those facilities for a wheelchair person to access. There was no ramp, nothing. Okay. So I was again shocked about this, and I lost all those opportunities. And also I could not clear in my judiciary interview also, partly because I was not ready to to confront the harsh word of the courtroom, and partly because the limitations which those people saw, which people see me, limitations they see while sitting, seeing a people sitting on a wheelchair, they find a lot of limitations in it. Maybe I could not qualify for that. So I lost both of my hard-earned opportunities. But I was very stubborn. Next year, again, I appear for CLAT. Before that, Prem sir, when we went for a Supreme Court visit in my final year, in the corridors of India Law Institute, he told us about RTI. Okay, that was the weapon in the hand of the citizens. He told us about the RTI. So I thought of putting this RTI applications in every university and ensure that all accessible facilities are given for the physically challenged person. I had put an RTI in NUJS, NALSA, and NLS also. After that, I saw, after a lot of fighting with them and everything, NUJS also had constructed a ramp for me, for all the people after my RTI. And NLS also had installed a lift over there for people, the physically challenged person, and they have given that. Again, I appeared for the CLAT. This time also I was a topper, all India topper in my category, and 50 rank was there in the general category. And then I completed my LLM in 2016 and landed, and I also got a job before I got the final mark sheet in my hand. That is this Port Trust. Okay. So, 2 years again later after that, means after 2016, again, I was again in my toes to complete MBA from the prestigious University of St. Xavier's College, Park Street. And maybe I'll again do PhD and LLD again with Dr. Prem sir's help again, with his blessings also. Again, I'll do it in the near future. So the long cinematic story I have told, I have lived it with sweat, tear, and blood and smiles. Two things I always remember in my life. Okay, two things which has brought me here. That is, you always have enough to live your dreams if you want to. This is one thing. And number two, every challenge, however difficult and devastating it is, it always creates a new opportunity for you. So these are two mantras in my life, which Sir has instilled in me and which I believe. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. I can thank you enough for filling our life with so much positivity during this pandemic. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you.
And it was not a story; it was an inspiring reality, I would say. Thank you, ma'am. So, ma'am, let's go to the next question. Nowadays, people are somehow losing faith in justice system. Maybe that's why so much media trial going on, and you have got justice from the court of law. So, what would you say to those who are losing faith in justice system, leading to the media trial and all?
Now, thank God, I'm fortunate enough that my case was not in this period when media trial is going on. Nowadays, unfortunately, media is no longer seen as a fourth pillar of democracy. Rather, it has transformed into a media of sale, where before the case reaches the court, the orders are given out. Sometimes it tarnishes the personal image of that victim so much that it becomes irreparable. It cannot be repaired anymore. So, but I'm fortunate enough, and I'm thankful to Indian judiciary system that it has given me the relief which one hopes to get. Though the process is very tedious, the process moves in a snail's pace, but still you need to keep a faith. And in the Indian judiciary system, justices are delivered. Okay, are delivered. I'm saying justices are delivered because this is the only forum, where the common man also has a direct access to it. So you need to keep faith, hope, and also hope, because hope is a thing which pulls up, which brings us. It is a thing which brings us to the. It is the only thing which brings us to the success thing. So you have to keep a faith and hope always.
Yes, ma'am. Keeping faith matters a lot. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for your precious words. Now I would like to invite Sir. Sir, few words about this session. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Arpita, for your insightful questions. And Nargis, you fill my heart with joy when I see you live the philosophy of my life, and that is turning problems into opportunities. As you rightly said, challenges really shape you up, provided you have the hope, you have the perseverance, and you have the determination to fight it out. You epitomize bravery, dear Nargis. My dear Nargis, I really portray this session of today as my most sparkling gem. And the students all across the world, be they law students or other students, the youngsters, the women, they will get an inspiration and motivation that we should never give it up. We should never give up. We should keep fighting. Nargis is not only a senior law officer in Port Trust now, She has a very inquisitive academic bent of mind. She still has a dream to do PhD. You heard her. And that gives a lot of joy to me. See this girl, this woman on the wheelchair who still has so many dreams. And this dream of yours will definitely take you at the top, my dear. And I am really, really proud of you. You have heard her that she secured the top rank in her category and 48 rank in all over India in LLM CLAT is not a matter of joke. Whenever I interacted with Nargis as her help, as her mentor, or as whatever you say, I have seen that sparkle in her eyes that she really always thirsty to know more, to learn more. And that is the impetus which gives her this position. And we all really hope that she scales greater heights, not only in the office front, in the professional front, but we find Nargis in another role as a mother, the mother of a child, a girl who is in class 9.
I know her husband also, Desdulal Babu. He is very supportive and really a very nice gentleman.
And that is great. So she is looking after the family, she is discharging her job, she is discharging her duties in the office and harboring dreams for further academic achievement. So really, she is the role model for all of us. Thank you, Nargis, for your time and the time which you have invested in the program today will be returned with rich dividends to the posterity, to the youngsters who will, or the viewers who will watch this program and get inspired from your living story. Thank you very much, Nargis.
Thank you, sir.
Arpita,
Thank you.
for your insightful question. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for allowing me to share the screen with you and ma'am. Thank you, ma'am, for your precious words. Thank you, ma'am,
Thank,
for inspiring us in so many ways. And
thank
last
you. Thank you.
and last but not the least, thanks to our viewers for their precious time for watching us. Keep following this place for more such inspiring videos. Thank you, everyone.